What's good, and welcome to Freee Reign, a podcast by Free Agent. I am Tony Gill, and along with me always is my friend, my partner, founder, creative director, Ando. And we are missing our brother Vic Lloyd, but he'll be back in the next episode. What's up, man?
Yeah, not much, man. I'm ready. we're that much closer to football, so sad season is almost over, and we get right back to talking fantasy, talking Bears, talking Bills. I'm excited. This time of year, especially with the way baseball's going. This is an exciting time right now.
Dude, this is feeding into the excitement that football is going to bring. We had so many summers where they were terrible for baseball, and then heading to like a terrible season if you're a Bears fan.
Yeah.
Most of the time, Bills not so much in recent memory. But we got a great show lined up for you guys. But make sure you subscribe. We are on YouTube. Shout out to our first 100 subscribers. We are growing. You want to hang with us? This is the cool kids table. Mm-hmm. This is where you want to be at.
That's
all right. But also want to make sure Cop Pack 3, right? Exclusive designs. We talked about in our last episode our favorite designs out of the pack drop. Make sure you pick up one of those and trade with your friends. You never know what you're gonna get. Right? You open up that pack. Maybe it's not the exact shirt that you wanted, but I guarantee you it's fire though.
Yeah. So always fire, and there's always somebody who's trying to swap them out.
Yeah.
So let's get it.
All right. So we're going to talk about, the most slept on sports brands. We're going to talk about fantasy, ADPs, who we think is too high or too low, right? Of course, we got to talk about our Southside guys. We're going to get to that. But first, we're going to talk about QB rankings. All right. PFF, Pro Football Focus, has released their annual rankings of the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. Of course, those comes with debate and anger and vitriol. But we got some thoughts on that too. One, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit too low. But I want to get our overall thoughts first of the list. When you checked out the list, what do you think? Of course, your guy is at the top.
Yeah. Josh at 1. I think that makes sense. I mean, like long term, I think right now you can argue that. I mean, Joe Burrow being second on the list is the first thing that I was like, is this the one from last year? Or so I don't know. I don't know exactly there. I think you got to kind of put Mahomes up. I think Josh at this point, he's two championships away from being the best of all time.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, as far as like the quarterback that you're watching on the field, what he's capable of doing from a skill standpoint, assuming that if it were to stay the way it is now with no rings, he's the best on the field. If two people are in a quarterback drill, like nobody's get outdo this guy. But he's obviously missing some accolades. So, but yeah, I think he's definitely he definitely deserves to be number 1 as of right now. He's the most valuable football player in the NFL.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I probably would agree with you on that, even though I'm a Mahomes guy myself. But right now, in terms of physically, in terms of where he's at in his game, I think I probably would take Josh Allen as probably the best player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right now,
I guess when I say best of all time, because there's.
Mahomes got 3 like right now.
Yeah. You remove but also after last season, like before last season, it was like, oh, he's about to take over Brady's spot, and then by the end of it, it's like, well, let's just not talk about that. So, I mean, that's always going to change, and and I'm a Bills fan, so of course I'm going to say stuff like that. But when you change like one word, so I think a good way to put it is he's the best, he's the most talented quarterback that I think I've ever watched play, just because of the range, the fact that when you have other mobile guys who can make a throw on the run, but okay, are they big enough to truck the guy?
Yeah,
like there's a freak athletic build that comes with everything you need as pressure, sacking him is not easy. Yeah. Same with Caleb. He's very slippery, but
it's different though, right? Yeah. Like being slippery is great, but being just too big to be taken down is a whole different thing, right? It's kind of, I feel like Josh Allen is like the upgrade of what we had with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Where just his sheer raw physical talents and ability just kind of overwhelmed you at the peak.
And
but it's more refined with Josh Allen.
When it comes to being clutch, I don't think we've ever seen a game, you know, because like there's heartbreak in Buffalo every year in the playoffs. But I can't remember a game where you say that Josh lost the game for them because of what he did. It's always he didn't do enough of it. You don't really see like, oh yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's had some games with turnovers. You're not going to go through a career without it. But yeah, I think he's so reliable. But yeah, I think makes perfect sense to have him there at 1. Like I said, Joe Burrow at 2 threw me off.
It threw me off too. Like I believe Joe Burrow is a great player.
Yeah.
And a great quarterback. His health though is reason to be concerned, and to be this high up on this list is
I think
kinda,
for me with him, you fast forward and look down the road, like let's say like he got to the show, he got to the big game quick, right off the bat in his career. If you told me that he didn't have, because of injuries, because of the personnel around him, you know, them getting injured, whatever it is, if you told me that he didn't have another playoff appearance in the next couple years, I would say he would easily fall into the like, oh yeah, that's the guy who was good in his first 2 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's so they're I don't think they're the sample size of consistency. Like yeah, he makes great plays, and I'm not trying to say he's a bad quarterback, but he's on number 2. So that's you know, like there's a lot to be said about that. You know, if you're the number 2 quarterback, that's pretty intense for him to be there going into this year.
Their reasoning for it is, you know, despite having only played 8 games last year, that in those 8 games, he earned a 91.3 PFF passing grade. So Pro Football Focus, they grade essentially every player's play every game to a certain point. And they were saying like he ranked among the top percentile when he did play. Despite being injured. So
and I mean, a lot of these rankings are based on their grade that they give them, and they factor in all the stats. So it's all data driven, and you can't really argue with data. But there is a whole world of intangibles. I think, especially at the quarterback position, there's a whole world of intangibles that when you're talking about like, if we're just going off stats, you could just go off stats and go back in time and look at people who we thought were great that really were not. And so that, looking at it in that zoomed in like that, you're gonna, without factoring in intangibles and just things that you know, like I'll go to the first one that I thought is he's too high was Jordan Love.
Yeah, Jordan Love.
I think at 6 for Jordan Love. So he's ahead of Herbert, Dak, Drake May, Brock Purdy,
Trevor Lawrence.
So what puts him there?
Williams.
What puts him there is what I want to know, because he's yardage and touchdowns, he's middle of the pack. Health is an issue for sure. He struggles under pressure big time. It's probably his biggest weakness. But he's yet to make a real meaningful playoff run. I don't know. I don't know where the 6 comes from for him. I don't know if it's, I mean, like, are we talking, is this a list of like the best guys in practice? Or because like I don't see Jordan Love as a like, if your team's in the playoffs and you're on the other side of the field against Jordan Love, as a Bills fan or a Bears fan, you're not that worried about him. You're more worried about the coaching and how that. But I'm not worried about him making some crazy plays consistently to go through to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's never really, even the big time plays that you see them have, it's more so the receivers on the other end of those plays making those plays. And there's something to, right, you need both. You need the quarterback to place the ball, and
I think also I think I saw a stat that was I think Watson and Tucker Kraft and Dobbs never played a snap together. Like they're like the trio of them, the revolving injuries and stuff. But there's something to be said about that, because if we're going off like the skill and talent, and then saying like, well, yeah, if they're all healthy, they'll do it. Like, okay, but we still haven't seen that. And I still haven't seen that, because we've seen teams with less talent look consistently scarier and be somebody that you're more worried about having to play against.
Right.
Like, look, when Jaden made his rookie run, I remember thinking, like, this guy's gonna, like, in a back and forth fourth quarter matchup, you're like, this guy's gonna score when he gets the ball back. You know, like, when was the last time the Packers gave you that feeling of like, oh, they're gonna score? It's just a matter of the time management.
Oh, for Bears fans, it's always in the back of Bears fans that the Packers are going to score at the end of the game.
Oh,
just for history, but it's not necessarily because of Jordan Love.
Right.
He just doesn't strike that fear, like, into anybody, and to be above Herbert, above Dak, who, like, I like Dak. He's a regular season king.
Yeah.
So for him to be above him,
I think it's an important year for Dak. I think it's a pretty important year for Dak. He's getting up there in age. He's kind of at this point where he does need to make something happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people have, like, written him off. He's a great quarterback. I think Dak Prescott's better than Jordan Love.
Yeah.
But he's 2 spots behind him, you know, but I think it's an important year for him. Got to stay healthy, and I think this is the time for the Cowboys to do something. I think they're going to have a good year. In our last episode, I said I think they'll win the division. So Drake May at 9. You said you were surprised to see him in the top 10.
Yes.
Why is that?
He just doesn't do it for me, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, especially, and this could be recency bias, right? That we saw him last in the Super Bowl, and he did not look good, you know, at all. And that's speaking to, like, a very, very good Seattle defense.
Yeah.
That should be given credit to them for making him look that way. But even throughout the playoff run, I mean, there's really run-based offense that takes a lot of pressure off, you know, him to do things and depending on him.
I don't know if I have an issue with him at 9, and here's why. I think when we talk, like, we're talking about this is all driven on data, and then you have your intangibles. One intangible that I look at an angle with quarterbacks is it's very easy for a quarterback to ruin a team's momentum. That's you're the number one, like, you have the best shot at messing up what your team has going on.
Yeah.
So guys like him, and even, where's Bo Nix?
Bo Nix is ranked
19. Okay.
Yeah.
He falls into the same category where, Bo Nix, first couple years, like, I wasn't like, this kid's amazing. But, like, I mean, they went on, what, a 9-game win streak last year? The quarterback can ruin what a team has going on easier than anybody else, and neither of those guys really did that. You know, you losing in the Super Bowl, I don't think to that defense, I don't think counts as this guy ruined it, you know? So that's where the intangible wise, like, dude, you're also not factoring in that this is the most important position, and these guys, whether they're, you know, like, greatness and, like, statistics and all that stuff, but they showed up better than guys who are in front of them. Like, they, you know, so Brock Purdy at 10. I think Brock Purdy is, you know, perennially slept on. I love Brock Purdy. I'm a fan.
Yeah. I mean, even watching this list, right? Like, it's tough to, you know, when you're just out and about and having these conversations, it's tough to kind of remember who everybody is. But when you get a defined list and you see everybody, you really start to think about, like, just the tiers of quarterbacks that,
and
you know, there's a more nuanced conversation to be had about what separates the elite from the rest.
I personally think, especially as a fantasy player, I think those intangibles are the things that, like, when you have those seasons where it's like, who saw that coming? Who saw him falling off? Who saw him blowing up? Like, the intangibles usually can point you there. What, looking at patterns, and just seeing, and also, like, you get very clouded by the narrative. So, like, I know you said, like, Caleb at 13, you think that's too low. And I can see that. Like, I see him around there because I think this is a really important season for him. He has to prove certain maturity this year, because there are still things, and the season ended with him making a crazy play. That's what's burnt into our memory. We're talking about their momentum right now is great. they lost some pieces, but people aren't really talking about that because there's really good momentum. They believe in the coach, and there are expectations on the Chicago Bears this year.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there are some things with Caleb that you have to see look better, like right off the bat, or it'll very quickly slip into, I remember how this went. Like,
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Now that you, my Bears fandom, I think got in the way. He might be ranked, Mike, perfectly, to be honest, because like now that I'm really thinking about it, is, man, those first halves of a lot of those games, awful.
Yeah.
And then they had some some halftime adjustments, and they came out and they looked, a lot better. Those first halves
from a talent standpoint and the ability to make crazy things happen, he is one of the best in the league. He's got a lot of Josh Allen in him when it comes to making magic happen. However, there are things in an 18-game season, 17-game season, there are things that you need to consider about the quarterback position. Here's one. 58% completion percentage for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Only Shador and JJ McCarthy were worse.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot better.
He's dead last in off-target rate. He's dead last in his completion percentage for zone coverage. So there are things that have to get better, because with stuff like that, and moving personnel, you gotta get. I mean, I think making his reads on time and throwing a better ball more frequently, I think is something you got to watch for with Caleb this year, because stats like that, being in the bottom there on 58% completion percentages is not great. However, I think the momentum could carry him. It's going to come down to like maturity, and how does he come into this year knowing, is he really high on what he accomplished last year, or is he not satisfied and wants to be better? And I'm sure both are somewhat true to some point, but
I mean, he's got to do the boring stuff better. He does the hard stuff really well. But what wins games consistently is the boring stuff. Is the take what the defense is giving you. It's kind of like what they did with Patrick Mahomes, like after his breakout season, where he was the full starter. The challenge is the ego. Is we're going to take away the big stuff. Are you consistent enough to beat Tom Brady in games where you're not going to get the big 400-yard games? Can you still win with 250, with 300 games? You didn't have any.
And that ability to generate the magic is what makes you confident on 3rd and 4th down. Makes you, okay, we can go for it on 4th. We know magic can happen, but the consistency thing in the NFL is very important. You have to be able to know. I'm not worried about getting into field goal range, because we're going to be able to hit these out routes and just get closer to the, and instead of looking for the magic play. And we'll see. I think the people around him are going to play a big role in that this year. See what happens with the running backs. And we'll see without DJ Moore there, whether you think DJ brought value or not last year, which I think a lot of people just saw the lack of effort on certain plays. And I think him not being there, though, it changes things. When you remove the, probably one last year, when you remove that, what happens to the other guys now? What does the next guy do when he is the main focus of the best cornerback on the other team? So we'll see. I think I wouldn't be mad moving him up or down a position, but it's right about there for those reasons. Like, I think there are still things that you want to see this year. Your confidence level on if he accomplishes, like, overcomes those things this year is going to be different for everybody, but that's a straight up fact that you got to see that this year. Otherwise, because with these expectations, man, you guys are expected to make a run.
Even with the hardest schedule in the NFL this year, they need to take that next step. Like, hey, the schedule is what it is. Like, you gotta win these games. Any other issues that you have, or any other surprises that you had with the list?
I was surprised. I didn't disagree with it, but I was surprised they put Jalen at 15. I thought they would have had him higher. And I mean, Baker should be in front of CJ in my opinion.
And CJ, man, that dude. Talking about falling off the table. He's right exactly.
I mean, that's a team full of guys I'm pulling for, because like I want to see Tank Dell come back and look great. I love Tank Dell. I want to see Nico have a full healthy season and look great. I want to see CJ do good, but I think a lot of people lost enough of those fall off seasons, enough of that pattern of the consistency, and then I guess for him that the floor got really low last year. That's the big thing. And so if you don't see that look good early on in the season, he's going to get stamped with you need a new guy. And like if he has a season as bad as the second half of last year, I think they're going to start talking about what they want to do at quarterback.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
I don't have a lot of issues with the rest of the list. I mean, my guy Cam Ward, the 29th best quarterback out of all the starters. I'm assuming that's going to be higher. Deshaun Watson ranked the worst quarterback out of the starting quarterbacks. I don't disagree. Nasty man. What are you doing? Like,
I don't know.
Right, like what?
It's funny. It's funny to put him on the list. Like it is funny. Yeah.
I guess he's still on the roster.
Yeah. I mean, technically they're still paying him.
Yeah.
He's still technically a quarterback.
Well, they got no choice.
Yeah. They got like 6 of them. They got 6 quarterbacks on this roster.
He's still the funniest quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah. Hilarious quarterback.
Hilarious.
So as we all laugh at the Cleveland Browns this year, this is Free Reign, and we're gonna be back after this. Free Reign, a podcast by a free agent, and we're big time fantasy football. I had to put fantasy football because if you just say fantasy, people think you're into some weird stuff.
Which we are, but not this episode.
Yeah, not this episode. We'll get to that maybe in a future, episode. Get to the stuff that
we'll work it in.
Fantasy football is upon us. Training camps officially start for some teams later this week, and other teams start next week. My Bears, they start next week. But we got to get into the fantasy football drafts, man. We got to get prepared. We want to get you prepared with our thoughts. Again, I'm no expert. I just love fantasy, and we love talking about it. So we're going to talk some average draft positions, right? People we think we were ranked high, people we think we ranked a little bit too low, some people that we're going to be fighting for in our leagues. We're in the league together. People that it's on our list. I'm not going to give out too many of my secrets because, he's the enemy. But let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Like looking at it at first, I usually go right to the running back, see where people have them ranked. First guy I got that's too high up is Kenneth Walker. I don't mean to just go nuts on him.
Super Bowl MVP, by the way.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP. But I mean, season before that, or last year when he won MVP, he finishes the RB22. I mean, for fantasy purposes here, finishes the RB22. Season before that, RB27. A lot of those numbers came from when the other running back was unavailable. So putting him at 7 on the Chiefs, like you're making 2 assumptions there. You're making the assumption that the Chiefs return back to their old form and they look like they did 2 years ago. And you're also assuming that like Kenneth Walker takes what he did in the last 6 games he played and does that all year. So RB7, he's actually RB6. He's the 7th, the 7th pick right now on Sleeper ADP. So that's nuts, man.
I don't think it's as crazy as you think. Here's the assumptions that I think they're making. I think that they've learned that as great as Patrick Mahomes is, in order for them to keep this going, he's going to need some help. And you look at, if you remember, when he was putting up those great numbers, who was behind him? Right, Kareem Hunt, prime Kareem Hunt, was making those plays on the ground in the check down that was made available to him. That's when we saw the best of Patrick Mahomes. I think they want to get back to that. I think they finally realized, right? They don't have a whole lot of receiving talent, right? Rashee Rice keeps getting arrested every other week. He's not dependable. And Travis Kelce is on his way out. He's just not that guy anymore. So they pick up Kenneth Walker. Luckily for them, right, those split carries that was so frustrating for every fantasy football player on the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to run the football but those split carries were extremely frustrating. That's not going to be the issue at KC. I think he's going to be the bell cow. I think he's going to have all those opportunities. Of course, you definitely need a backup, but I don't think it'll be as equal as it was in his prior stop. So for fantasy football wise, I think he'll eat up a lot of those goal line opportunities. I think they want to get back to helping Patrick Mahomes, who's coming off a major injury. I don't think they're going to depend on him as much. And I think this is their effort into acknowledging that, hey, we want to reinvest in the run game to take that pressure off.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely put numbers up, but I mean, like Achan, Genty, Hampton. I think I'll take all three of those over him.
Okay.
Probably take Jeremiah Love is an interesting one because that those first round, those early running back picks, they pay off every time.
They get the opportunity.
They pay off every time
because you need to prove why you drafted.
But it's a weird situation where it's a team that you don't know
the quarterback situation.
You don't know if they're going to get to 5 wins, and I don't know how many touchdowns they're going to be. And also, this is not an empty running back room. There's James Conner, Trey Benson, and someone else. So I can't remember his name right now, but
and someone else on ADP. So.
Yeah. And that someone else, he's too low on here. He should be higher up. But yeah, so that was my first reaction to it. Who do you got? Who do you think's a little too high up?
Man, I love and hate Christian McCaffrey. And every time I pick him, it ruins me. And every time I don't pick him, it ruins me. It's too volatile.
Yeah.
I know the opportunities are going to be there.
Yeah.
I know when he plays, he's going to touch the ball at least 10 times.
There's those guys that chances are whoever has them is gonna do really good. But I mean, there's 3 guys that year after year I will not touch.
The risk reward is too crazy because
him and I'm not gonna touch Derrick Henry again because I think that's gonna come to an end. I mean, he's magnificent, but there's going to be one of these seasons where it's like, oh man, I took Derrick Henry so high, I took him in the second round, and it's not going to pay off. Jonathan Taylor, I think he looked great last year, but I won't be drafting him because
it's the
questions,
and that's the difficulties, right, with the running back position.
Yeah,
is
especially at running back when you have a guy who's perennial, like year after year, there's a good chance he gets injured, even a 50-50 chance, like. At running back, man, you can't be stuck. You need them for a lot of points in like a PPR league. The pass catchers more so, but the running backs are likely you're getting your touchdowns.
Yeah.
And depending on if they're in a committee or something. I mean,
because Christian McCaffrey won people leagues last year. And that's the risk that you take is if he's healthy, I'm banking on he's going to be healthy.
Yeah,
because if he's not healthy,
if you take him with an early pick, you're going to probably make it to the Super Bowl or miss the playoffs.
And you have to draft. You can't just wait till the draft ends to pick up the backup. You're probably going to have to waste a bench spot
for a handcuff.
Yeah, automatically.
Yeah,
so that's 2 positions that that you're going to have to take. So according to Sleeper, he's at number 4, he's like 4.9, so 4 to 5 in terms of being drafted. I just think that's too high. And to see Saquon Barkley drop as far as he did to being drafted roughly around 13, but not Christian McCaffrey, I thought was weird.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at here's one thing that I haven't really heard people discuss yet that I'm really interested to see. What do you think happens, assuming the quarterback and both of these receivers are healthy all season? What do you think happens between George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? Who ends up? Does George Pickens outplay CeeDee Lamb again this year and become the one, making CeeDee Lamb a wide receiver 2 on a team?
See, and that's the fun part about fantasy conversation versus like real football conversations. On paper, on depth, and on opposing teams, game plan, CeeDee Lamb is the one you guard. But production-wise, for fantasy players, I think it's going to be George Pickens. Again, last year is more so because of the injuries due to CeeDee Lamb. But I think drafting either one, I don't think it hurts you to have either one of them on your roster, just because CeeDee is so gifted and they want to give CeeDee the ball, right? That's not an issue. And as we know, regular season, Dak Prescott is MVP level.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves throwing the ball. So you know the opportunities are going to be there. I don't think you miss with either CD or George Pickens there. My question right now, Justin Jefferson is ranking about the 18th in terms of his average draft position. I think that's sneaky low.
Yeah.
I think that's very sneaky low. I think they got to get back to what made them successful, and it's finding ways to get him the ball. And I think Kyler Murray is an upgrade to the previous quarterbacks that they had. And I think Kyler Murray knows where his success lies. And in order for him to maintain in the NFL, he's got to go to the person that's going to keep him around. And I think that's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. I don't know. He's a guy I don't really draft a lot. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best, but his situation being so volatile, like, how do you really know what's going to happen with Justin Jefferson this year? Because he's another guy who I think he's 2 mediocre seasons away from getting removed from that tier.
Yeah.
Or, maybe even one. Because
But not even due to him.
No, not due to him, but you do see other talented wide receivers outplay what's surrounding them, and just make crazy things happen. But I'm not ready to turn off of Justin Jefferson, but I think that comes with some assumptions that Kyler fits in perfect and likes football this year.
Yeah.
And also that, I think he has issues seeing the field, making reads. He couldn't get Marv the ball. Their passing game explosion came from Jacoby Brissett and Wilson.
Yeah.
So, that's making the assumption that the QB whisperer over there can get him in line and do that. And if he does, then that's sneaky low for Justin Jefferson, 100%.
Question: anybody you're actively trying to stay away from that you don't think will be a surprise to people that you're staying away from?
Let's see. And receiver, I think there's a little bit of hesitation for me with Drake London.
That was going to be mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm definitely hesitant. And it's not only the quarterback with that. It's going to require somebody stepping up and playing really well.
Somebody has to play quarterback.
Somebody,
Tua or Michael
absolutely
Penix.
has to. I think the safest prediction for the Atlanta Falcons is that Tua will make it a third of the season in, and because of injury, concussion, obviously, Penix will come in, and what does he look like after being backseated? How does he react to that? How does he develop his game after that? Tua's a guy who I think the conversation is really, we have all these conversations about people and head injuries and stuff, but I don't think anybody looks worse with a concussion than him.
Yeah.
There's people who can get some concussions and make it out good, and there's people who don't. And the way the optics on his in particular, I used to call their coach in Miami Coach Dahmer, because it was like he was trying to kill the guy. Like, what is he doing back on the field?
Yeah.
There was his second one looked like it could be a career ender.
Yeah.
And then he had 2 more. So we'll see if Tua makes it the entire season as the starter, healthy. I would be very, very surprised.
Okay.
Because it's tricky. But anyway, back to Drake London. Yeah. I'm probably not all over him. If he falls,
he's a concussion guy too.
He falls lower. We'll see, and we'll see how their styles go together as well. Malik Neighbors is a guy that he's definitely not starting the season, I believe. So drafting him, you don't want to leave something that valuable sitting there, but also you got to, you have to probably get another good wide receiver before that if you want to take him, because other than that, if you end up getting pushed down to like the AJ Brown, Rashee Rice area, like
AJ might be sneaky good.
Yeah, I know.
Sneaky good pick for fantasy. The whole reason why he wanted to leave is because he wasn't getting balls. So why would they take him if
this could be an interesting year for them, because they are not normally, they're a strict program
Yeah.
normally doesn't like flirt with these controversial guys.
Yeah.
And now coach is in trouble, and now you bring this guy over. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to gel as well as people think. And maybe that's just because I'm just used to seeing the Patriots be this kind of franchise. Maybe they evolve into that, and that's and they deal with it well. But I think overall, he's if you give him his stats, like how problematic is he? He's high up there. And I think you might see Devonta Smith go nuts, and it'll tell you more about AJ Brown than you realize. But then also with Philly, I mean, I think Jalen Hurts is
limited.
Jalen Hurts is potentially Russell Wilson. Extremely problematic. It seems like every year there is controversy in the locker room, and he's involved with it.
Yeah.
He's a great speaker and can go, do an interview well and put on a good smile and stuff, but he seems to be tied to all these arguments.
I think it's just strictly because I think he likes the way he likes to play. He feels like the way he plays wins games, and that's all that matters. Versus the rest of the team that is dependent upon his growth as a player and as a thrower of the football. I'm speaking to AJ. I don't know if Devontae was as loud, but I mean, he didn't denounce anything that AJ was saying either. And look, he's just not that great of a thrower. But he knows how to win.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do with that.
I mean, I think that there's two intangibles in play there, and that's what I like base all my decisions on. But there's two intangibles in play there. One of them is when you have those rumors and this guy, people have a hard time getting along with him all the time. That's a negative. But then it kind of goes back to the other one I was just talking about, which is he finds ways to not let his team lose the game. And he's not the reason that they fall behind. So. That could go either way. Either way, they're not going to win their division this year. Bills get that first round bye, win the AFC, go to the Super Bowl, and win by halftime.
In terms of, I don't necessarily avoid players per se. I think I avoid teams until I have to take from those teams. Like Chargers wide receivers.
Yeah.
Like I can't trust that.
I'm good.
Denver running backs. Like I think those two in particular that I've had too many burns.
Yeah.
From those teams and skill position players is just I can't trust them, and it's too unpredictable for me. I like to go where I feel like the opportunities are, and then try and guess after that. I try and guess beyond that.
Yeah. Steelers offense.
Gets it.
I'm not.
Yeah. Anything else? In terms of fantasy, that you want to hit?
No, that's a good look at the ADP. I'm sure this is going to evolve quite a bit by the time we get going.
Yep.
But this early look is it's interesting to see where everybody makes these assumptions about guys. So we'll see.
Free Reign. We'll be back. South Side. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yo, the White Sox are on in my recent memory, a legendary run. I haven't felt this way and this good since 05, right? 05 was the most random run of all time, and I loved every bit of it. I was a kid. I was in elementary school, but we followed that run every game all the way through the championship. I remember watching that in my parents' room, that final out as we swept the Houston Astros. Don't forget it. ESPN loves to forget that the 05 White Sox exist.
Oh man,
they've done it like 4 times. It's annoying, but the Sox, man, they are the third, at least record-wise, the third best team in the AL, only behind the Yanks and the Tampa Bay Rays. Man, they could chase them down.
Yeah.
They can chase them down. It's possible. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're going to do it, but they could be the number 1 overall seed in the AL.
It's absolutely possible, man. Their differential started like going up pretty quickly. They had a couple blowouts. They had that big game, that big 20+ run game a couple weeks ago. Right now, as it stands,
scored 10 runs yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, as it stands right now, they're 1 game ahead. The Twins are playing the Guardians right now. The Twins are creeping up a little bit, but but yeah, I think keeping that division spot locked in, they've been playing great, man. They got the batters. Like you talk about their offense, like your 5 best batters are probably Vargas, Peters, Colson, Montgomery, Mydroth, and Murakami.
Yep.
Murakami just got back from his injury. I think he hasn't found it yet. I think that first bomb he hits, he'll get back, and they'll start heating up. Everyone will feed off that, because once he got hurt, everyone else stepped up, and they just kept scoring, kept hitting bombs. They got 320 plus home run hitters on the team. Those 5 guys I just listed now, and then you have guys outside of their top 5 like Antonacci and Braden Montgomery, who are both not guys you want up when the bases are loaded. So, yeah, I mean, the big concern obviously was pitching, but it's gotten better.
Post All-Star break, it seems like they've gotten healthy and fixed some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and there's guys I think that aren't getting talked about from pitching. Davis, of course, but Burks got better numbers than Davis. Newcomb has been becoming a favorite as a reliever. And, outside of their top 5 on the pitchers overall, I think Hicks, people aren't talking about Jordan Hicks enough.
That's right.
He's 30 games, 30 appearances this year. With 23 hits, his whip is 1.54. The last 15 games, so the second half of that sample size, his whip is 1.02 with 24 strikeouts. And his last 15 times showing up, his last 7 times showing up, his whip is 0.55, 14 strikeouts. And that's in 7.1 innings pitched. Dude, the last 3 times I've seen him go up, he went 3 strikeouts, and then I think last night he let up a hit and then got back to getting the last guy out. That's what you need.
Yeah.
We talk about what needs to happen is the pitchers need to step up. You get concerned when it comes to like, are we going to trade one of our young guys to go get a good pitcher and make a run? But if these guys all step up, there's no need. We got Rock Chalowski, big dog.
Chalowski, don't let them trick you. Chalowski.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man. That kid's gonna step into a team. I'm hoping that, because you have once these pitchers start stepping up and you have numbers like this to look at, get excited about a postseason run. And yeah, I mean, the second half of the season is going to be really important because it can end really good or really bad, obviously. But very excited. They're very fun to watch. Who's your favorite player on the White Sox right now out of the top dogs?
Yep.
And then who's the guy that people don't talk about that you like a lot?
I'm a big Vargas guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big
hard not to be, man.
I mean, you're talking about this team is already fun to watch. When he's at the plate, it's like, hey, hold on, hold on, let's watch this really fast.
Yeah.
And you don't get that excitement sense, right? Like, Tim Anderson, maybe, where he was like, hey, everybody stop. Let's just watch. Let me watch this real fast.
He's such a good story, man.
Yeah.
Like, think about being on the Dodgers and getting traded to the White Sox to be on the worst team of all time. And then a couple years later, you're an all-star. You're going to seeing your old teammates at the all-star game.
Yeah.
You hit the only extra base run in the all-star game. He comes in and gets a home run. I think he hit twice. And hit a homer. Dude.
Yeah.
He's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And it seems like no ego at all.
Yeah.
It seems like he didn't, when you have that kind of trajectory in your career, you definitely see guys get a little lost in their head, but dude, that guy is
and that's what I think that last run, the pandemic teams, a lot of ego was on that team, and a lot of selfishness was on that team, and I don't think that it's in this locker room.
No,
and I think with guys like Vargas and Montgomery and Murakami, who are having the success that they're having, but it doesn't seem to isolate them from the rest of the group.
Yeah.
That this is a group effort That's the only way this team could win
And
this many games.
That seems to be the number one talking point about what's going on with
Yeah.
the White Sox is how much these guys care about each other and want their team to be rock solid.
Right.
That's what they all play that way. And if one guy gets cold, like the rest of them are pretty warm, you know, and like keep things running. Like we saw that with Murakami leaving, coming back, and he hasn't even found his stroke yet.
Right.
We're not worried about it.
Yeah.
You know, like that's pretty awesome. The only thing I'm worried about is it not picking up soon and them not giving them the money.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm worried about. But
but I mean, Vargas has been a guy that I've enjoyed watching probably the most. Outside of, obviously the early start of Murakami and then he goes down. I think a guy that from my working career, I've always heard about Colson Montgomery, and he's like, hey, just wait for it, it'll happen. It took a little bit for him to figure it out. About the player that he was going to be, but now I'm very excited to see him play. Like, he's really come to form, and if he stays this consistent, for the next few years, we're looking at like a real solid base here that they can build off of. For the next few years, that they can be really good with. If he continues to be the player that he's been showing to be. And it's been a long time coming. There were times, hey man, I don't think Colson's got it. Like, I don't think he's gonna be one of those guys.
Yeah, but I think it was a short time period where you saw a really big jump in his game, and I think that's one of those intangibles that you look at, like how fast can this guy grow? Because there are people who they end up being an all-timer, but not a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
They end up being great, but they don't quite get there, and it's because it takes too long to get that good. And I think he got good in a short amount of time. I think there's still plenty of progress. There's a lot of strikeouts or doubles or home runs, and you can't go get extra bases every time. So balancing that out, but still, even with that fluctuating a bit, he's got 24 home runs right now, 9th in the league. Right behind Buxton. He's got 2 more than Ohtani. He's smashing, man. And you could tell he gets in his head. The strikeouts, he reacts to it quite a bit, but yeah, I mean, I think if the growth that we saw over the last year or two, if that were to continue, you're talking about a really, really good baseball player in a year or two from now.
And I don't want to end this conversation, and we're going to keep talking White Sox probably every episode when the season is going on. The job that Will Venable has done this year, I mean, leading up, right? He had a bad La Russa, and we made jokes about it. I haven't looked it up because I tried to remember the last manager's name, and I just can't do it. So I'm going to have to look it up to. But that's how insignificant that run was and how bad of a place the White Sox were in. And Will has stepped into this spot knowing that the White Sox are the stepchild in the city in terms of baseball. And we all know that. We all recognize that. The White Sox are the second team. Cubs are number 1. So when the White Sox are bad, they are forgettable.
Yeah.
Not to rhyme, but they were forgettable. But now under Venable, they're now in a place of prominence and stability that I didn't think would have come this fast.
And the pieces, I mean, like, again, that outside of your big names, their production, I mean, Sam Antonacci's batting .285 right now. Out of a guy who's not in the first 5 names that come out of your mouth for the team. So, yeah, man, I love him. I love Chase Mydroth, dude.
Yeah,
love this guy.
Yeah,
he's a goofball, and he's consistent, man. Defensively and at the plate too. I think he's awesome.
Chris Guest, shout out to Chris Guest, man. Putting this team together, putting this roster together, setting the culture.
Give him the keys, man.
We all had our worries, right, of them supposed to be going out and hiring, a guy to fix this, and we all had questions about hiring internally, especially after this runs. Like, he was here to oversee a lot of this, and you picked him from the inside, and it seems like Jerry made the right decision on this one.
Yeah,
like, shocker.
Yeah.
But you got to give credit where it's due, right? If we're gonna trash Jerry and his decision making, we also got to give him the credit of seemingly getting it right.
Yeah, for sure. But it's exciting to watch the White Sox, and I'm grateful for that alone. So, making a nice little playoff run would be awesome. I think when you have that camaraderie and like how strong the locker room energy is, I think that's when you have these unexpected runs where you get past some people in the postseason. But there's definitely it's going to be nice to see the second half of this season. How does everybody deal with the getting their like if the consistency starts turning around? Like if, let's say, Murakami hits his first bomb and then goes and gets back to what he was doing before, where he's just constantly doing it, and maybe there's just a little block after the injury that he's got to get past. Once that happens and everyone else is playing the way they are, it's going to be exciting going towards the postseason.
Trade deadline August 3rd. I'm going to be interested to see what the White Sox, do or don't do. I don't want them to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the time to do that yet. You got the number one pick. Again, that doesn't guarantee greatness just because you were the number one pick.
Yeah.
In baseball. I think there's only been like 4 Hall of Famers that were drafted number 1 overall, and one of them was kind of shaky to get in. So that doesn't guarantee success, but I think he's going to have we can wait for him.
Mm-hmm.
He can grow into his own and be the player that we need him to be, and then we can add him.
And we have Colson there
roster,
at shortstop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited, man. It's a good time to be a White Sox fan, that's for sure.
Great time to be White Sox. Let's go. South Side. Free Reign. Freee Reign podcast brought to you by Free Agent. Tony Gill, Ando. We got to talk about things that impact this show and its fashion and its branding.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes all into your sports watching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sports memorabilia, sports merchandise. Some of them are more popular than others,
Mm-hmm.
right? We know what those are, right? The big pop-out brands, the Yankees hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bulls, logo.
Bulls, Dodgers, Blackhawks.
Dodgers, Blackhawks, iconic, right? But there are some that don't get enough praise as we should. So we're going to go over those in a little bit. So what you got first up?
First up, I got 2 for each of the major sports. So let's start basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs and Raptors are the 2
Okay.
that I'm all over. I mean, Raptors.
New one or old school?
Old.
Okay.
Old on the Raptors.
Okay.
And Spurs, I think when you have a logo like that it makes people where people realize what the logo is later, where they're like, it's the Spurs. And then at one point, oh, dude, that's, okay. You pick up on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a sign of a well thought out logo.
Mm-hmm.
And then Raptors just having a dinosaur as your mascot, and the old, purple and red, Vince Carter days, the overall branding. So, I mean, the branding goes in a bunch of directions. It's logo, color choice, uniform. What does it feel like, overall when you walk into the stadium? But just looking at logos and, simple branding concepts, Spurs and Raptors for me are 2 basketball ones that always caught my eye as a kid and now as an adult, both strong.
Yeah, I've always loved the San Antonio Spurs with I don't know what you even call that color palette, but it was black and silver, but also the teal and the orange and then the pink.
Yeah.
I don't even know what palette that was, but it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who decided to throw that in there because they could have just made it, try and piggyback off.
Unfortunately, you have to go back in time to find the risk taking in sports branding.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, it gets more and more predictable, more and more corporate feeling. Where back in the day you had like NFL jerseys back in the day, dude, where you had the numbers were 16 inches tall. I think Deion Sanders Falcons jerseys where the numbers take up the entire jersey, or where the old Patriots jersey had their logo on the shoulder way too big.
Yeah.
I think those are sick, man. Nowadays, if you saw one of those old jerseys in a thrift store, you would grab it because it's dude, this is fire. Old So yeah, I mean, definitely the risk takers and some really potent art was found, before this modern era we're in now. But yeah, the Spurs, like anytime there's a risky color palette like that just works, like, dude, that's such a massive success versus the let's go red, white, and blue, maybe yellow and black. Those are safe options. Your eyes are always going to appreciate those and be drawn to them. But anytime there's a unique color palette like that, Spurs and Raptors.
I'll give you my NBA. Man, those 90s Pistons. I mean, and there's a lot going on in that logo and in that color. But it, like you mentioned, it works. The fire horse.
They had a lot of help. There's some teams that they get a lot of help from the logo shape itself. And that one they did. I think the Angels old ones where there was a wing on the front of the jersey, they got a lot, like the shape of it helped everything else look doper. I think the same thing with the Colorado Avalanche. The shape of that and actually that wasn't supposed to be their color palette. It was actually green in their branding, but it got printed on a piece of paper with a printer that was low on ink. It came out maroon and navy, and now that's what they rock with. But it was supposed to be green, primarily green, I believe, instead of the blue. And it was
That's funny.
it was a little mistake on getting it all put together, and they were like, "Nah, run with that. Don't put new ink in."
But because that was a rebrand. Right? That Pistons logo, it was trying to get past those Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, like that era of Pistons where it was just simple. We mentioned red and blue. That's a risk. The teal, the red, orange, right? That was a risk, and that was the Grant Hill era. But I think people still like that Pistons logo. And I think that's one that I think was slept on. Another one in the NBA that I think is slept on, and I hope that it returns. The Seattle Supersonics. I know they don't have a team. Hopefully they get a team soon. But on its own, I think in any other way that it was framed, green and that mustard yellow is kind of disgusting.
You know what? Green and yellow
works, man.
I love
Seahawks,
green and yellow.
Not Seahawks, Supersonics.
I think Chicago fans green and yellow as a combo is tainted in Chicago because of the Packers. But it's a great combo, dude. As far as like two colors coming together and making you feel a certain way. I love green and yellow when it gets paired together. And Supersonics is a good one. That's a little detached from us. I mean, it's not without, some history of the Supersonics with us in the playoffs and stuff. But
those are my two NBA teams.
Yeah, for sure. I got football. I have the Vikings logo slept on, man. If you are going to have a logo, and it reminds me of the Blackhawks logo because there's a lot of detail in it. It breaks rules of making logos. The overall shape of it's not the traditional, it's in a box or it's in a circle or it's predictable. Those kind of die cut logo shapes, but also just having the braids on the Viking and that much detail on it. And that's a risk in itself. And if it ends up becoming iconic like that and something that you are hesitant to change down the road, maybe you make some modern alterations to it. But Vikings and the Seahawks, I think both of them, rock solid logos, great branding. It's hard in a sport of people hurting each other with a mascot of a Viking to go purple and yellow and make it work. So Vikings, Seahawks, also green and blue together. I rarely like green and blue together, and the Seahawks found a way to make it look nice. They just got to never ever do the highlighter.
The highlighter, I hate those.
I think that, dude, go back to the silver, green, and blue like faded color palette from back in the day when you saw the Seahawks on the shoulder. Like they didn't even have to be good. Like that was, when you're a kid, you go play one of the old Madden games or something, and if it was from an era you didn't know a lot of the people, you're picking on the color palette and the logo. That's what you're picking with. So yeah, man. Vikings, Seahawks, I think slept on brands.
Okay. I don't think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers miss in their last two. The old 90s with the pirate, just the pirate with the sword in the mouth.
Yeah.
I think that's a hit. and I don't think it's as good as that one, but they're the one that they currently have.
Yeah,
like I think it works.
It's
I think it's strong. I think it fits everything that you need and what you want to present as an icon.
Yeah, Bucks are
in there. The palette. I think I love.
Yeah,
I think that's a slept on one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the creamsicle is a classic, man. That's a gorgeous jersey. You know, I think the Bears don't really have, to me, a jersey that's like, oh, that's the sickest Bears jersey.
Right.
Like they get the orange alternates. I mean, the orange alternate Hester jersey, you have to feel like you saw all the time. That was the one people wanted to, but it's still not like amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to do their rivalry jerseys for them. Because you see all these AI generated ones come up, and it's like, man, they're just like, let's go light blue or all white or all black. Like, they're sleeping, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I have another one outside of like just slept on. I just feel like I don't see enough Buccaneers stuff.
Yeah,
I think it works.
Yeah. Bucks are slept on. There's some other ones I got, like Marlins are great. I think the strongest point that makes me like them the most is like mascot choice, which is another category that factors
the
into
the most updated.
I'm thinking.
Okay, because you got to see they switched up so often.
No.
Okay,
they failed on their the new Marlins of the future idea.
Okay, yeah,
was not a good move. As far as classics and a really good script logo where the shape of it helps you appreciate it more is the Twins.
Okay.
Okay. The Twins script logo is like, it's very simple. There's not a whole lot to it. But if you ever obsess over typography and try to make a word look cooler than it is, and then you see the Twins script logo, fire.
Okay.
Super dope. And then hockey, the old Florida Panthers jerseys with the Panther coming at you, so fire.
Okay.
It made the color palette cooler to have red and navy like that with that fire of a logo. So old Panthers, and then also one that I think gets no love is the Ottawa Senators. I love that logo, dude. I remember playing like NHL 92 on Sega Genesis. And whenever I played with them as a kid, I always thought it was a bunch of lobsters because they're just like all maroon and the goalie's like taking up the whole net and shit. But yeah, Ottawa Senators got a fire logo. Yeah, I don't know. Those are some things that the Panthers could go back to the old one. The Ottawa's kind of kept it pretty similar. You know, they don't do too much change to that. But yeah.
You know, it's tough to miss on a baseball, logo. I think for the most part, I think they all kind of work. For the most part, there's a couple are like, what are you doing? So it's tough to kind of pick like a slept on one for baseball for me. But if I had to pick a slept on one, or it's probably not even slept on. I just like it. The Blue Jays is elite to me.
Yeah,
I just like it. I don't know if it's slept on or not.
Yeah, I think it gets points for mascot decision, like what mascot are you running with. I think that's why the Raptors, to me, to stick with a dinosaur and go with that is like, I don't know, mascot decision. That's like beat selection for rappers for me. Like that's an important factor. But yeah, Blue Jays are dope. You can't go wrong with baby blue. And then there's the ones that you got the nostalgia attachment to. Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily think the Chargers jerseys are that cool, but I remember as a kid, getting a LaDainian Tomlinson powder blue jersey, and it was like, this is the coolest shit you have, dude. So, there's ones like that are sick, but I wouldn't put them up there with like, who do I think has the dopest one. I really want to know more about how they go about finding the people to do this. Like, are they looking at like a corporate catalog of guys, or are they like looking at artists?
I doubt they're looking at artists.
Yeah,
I think it's all internal. Decision.
Yeah, and like corporate focus groups and stuff.
Yeah,
which I get. There's a bunch of money involved, but
somebody should take the creative risk and like, hey, we want to make and rebrand ourselves. That best fits the city.
I'm just gonna
hit
up all the worst franchises and be like, what do you have to lose, man?
Yeah,
let me get in here and let me try to swag these guys out while they while they lose.
Yeah. My one hockey one, and I'm glad that they made the decision, but the Ducks.
Yeah, going back.
I'm glad they went back and made that their main. That's the one that people remember. They grew up on Mighty Ducks, the movie series, like Michael Fox. Like, man.
Yeah, we were talking about that teal. If you do teal in sports, it's hard to miss. Almost everybody hits when you got teal in sports.
Yeah.
The Mariners, the old Ducks with the purple and teal is crazy.
Yeah.
To make that so iconic, that combo. Hornets. I mean, like if you got teal going on in sports, you got to be the only one in your sport. There's only one. Marlins. Oh, I guess Marlins and Mariners. But yeah, I think if you fuck around with some teal and I don't know, you'll have a strong brand.
Put down what you think is the dopest sports logo.
Yeah, who are
more
we
slept on? Who are we sleeping on that we didn't mention? I think that's gonna be it for us.
Yeah.
Today for this show. Thank you guys for checking out Freee Reign. Please make sure you subscribe, like, share with your friends. We're only gonna get better and better. I know Vic isn't here, but Vic is gonna get better and better too.
Yeah.
Whatever Vic is up to, Big Homie Sensei. You know, we gotta see what Vic's up to in the next episode. We're gonna get into that. So make sure you come back. We're gonna have a fun time. This is Freee Reign.